Hello everyone, and welcome back to Subnautica Revisited. This is going to be the finale episode. Now, my first playthrough back in 2022, it was a lot longer, because I was very new to everything and, well, I was a bit inexperienced. But now, over 1.5 years later, here I am. So, in this episode, I'm firstly going to be taking a look at the downloaded data. We've gone through the top biomes. We've gone through the Jelly Shroom Cave. We've gone through the Lost River. We've gone through the inactive lava zone. And finally, we've made it down into the active lava zone. And now, we have to build the Neptune. But before we do that, we're gonna be taking a good old look at Advanced Theories, Alien Data, Aurora Survivors, Degasai Survivors, Operations Logs, and I guess public documents. I'm not going to be taking a look at all the little creatures I scanned because, again, I read about those in my old playthrough. We'll start with the bacterial infection report. This was beforehand. You have been infected with a previously unknown waterborne bacterium. It is currently multiplying in your bloodstream. Estimated incubation time, 2 weeks. Your immune system is currently combating the infection at low efficacy. You may already be experiencing flu-like symptoms and skin irritation. These will likely be exacerbated as the bacterium takes hold. Your immediate priority should be abatement and eradication of the infection. Recommended steps: salvage further alien research data on a possible vaccine. Investigate the mechanisms which have enabled the indigenous ecosystem to inhibit the symptoms of the infection. The enzyme host peeper. A peeper specimen was observed emitting a faint, fluorescent enzyme trail. Oh, and engaging in unusual behavioral patterns. Peeper is actively approaching other creatures, including predators. The specimen is host to a bacterial infection, however the infection is currently dormant. Peeper's stomach cavity contains an unknown enzyme of foreign origin. Chemical analysis of enzyme. There's some superficial similarity to the stomach enzymes of larger predators. Contact with the enzyme appears to inhibit the symptoms of the bacterial infection. Complex structure renders synthesis impossible. Recommend further research into enzyme origin. Enzyme host peepers leaving the containment facility. The outflow pipes are filled with peepers traveling back towards the surface. Specimens show no symptoms of infection. All specimens scanned are carrying enzyme 42, which data suggests inhibits the bacterium. Specimens' stomach cavities are otherwise empty, suggesting they may have purged the contents before entering the pipes. If peepers have evolved to distribute the enzyme via the pipe network, this may explain part of the mechanism by which life on 4546b has survived since the bacterial outbreak. So all those creatures that we've seen, all the peepers that we've come across, very well may have been carrying enzyme 42. The Emperor's specimen's eggs are attached to some form of incubator. In a normal life cycle, it seems likely that sea emperors would have buried their eggs in shallower waters, where different organic materials in the soil would have triggered a hatching response. The incubator suggests the aliens had resorted to developing artificial hatching enzymes which would simulate the egg's natural hatching environment, but were unable to discover the formula. With extensive information on the sea emperors themselves, it may still be possible to fabricate an artificial hatching enzyme using indigenous ingredients. However, the only surviving source of that information may be the sea emperor itself. Peepers entering the containment facility. The pipes drawing water into the containment facility are filled with peepers arriving from the surface. The fish show no signs of distress, the specimens scanned have all consumed high quantities of seeds and organic matter from the surface, some specimens are beginning to show signs of infection. So these are the ones from before they received enzyme 42. Peepers inside the containment facility. While all other creatures are encountered within the facility are while all other creatures encountered within the facility are isolated within it, peepers appear to be coming and going of their own accord via the Alien 5 network. On arrival, peepers are approaching the Sea Emperor. Peepers exhibit a natural affinity for the stomach, and stomach enzymes being expelled by the Emperor. Peepers which have come into contact with the enzyme are returning to the pipe network. So it was basically an endless system of infected creatures being cured or treated and heading back out. This behavior must be the source of enzyme 42 on 4546b, or the area thereof which supports life. It is likely also responsible for the survival of the Emperor and the other life forms contained within the facility. Let's see, the Sea Emperor egg casing. The shell casing is formed from thick layers of carbon composite, suggesting an extensive gestation period. This Leviathan species may give birth just once per century, perhaps just once in their lifetimes. Shell casing and incisions. Precise incisions suggest a laser-based tool was used to cut open the egg casing and forcibly remove the fetus inside prior to full gestation. Time pressure to develop a bacterial vaccine may have driven the alien researchers to cut open this egg and remove the fetus for study. It is also possible that, removed from its parent and natural habitat, some vital condition for the infant to hatch naturally was not met. So basically, in their desperation, they removed the fetus by force, but in doing so, may have caused them to lose the way that they could have even gotten the enzyme, because they could have just left it alone, but they didn't. The Sea Emperor fetus. Found preserved in a display case, it was likely a child of the adult specimen contained within the facility. Physiology. Superficial damage to the specimen indicates it was artificially removed from its egg casing. Stunted tissue development suggests the organism expired during the removal process, meaning that it died. Tissue samples have been taken from the digestive tract. It appears the aliens were attempting to formulate a cure for the bacterium from enzymes produced in this specimen's digestive system. Without a young, healthy specimen, these efforts were in vain. Specimen with symptoms of infection. This organism is displaying signs of a bacterial infection. Bright green blisters are forming networks around the infection sites. Pathology suggests a waterborne bacterium capable of penetrating the body through the skin and respiratory system. Ugh. Underlying indications of genetic mutation and aggressive behavior. The bacterium itself is unlike any so far recorded in human exploration. Warning, may be contagious, avoid. Do not under any circumstances consume the flesh. The Sea Emperor's eggs. The shell, uncommonly strong shell lining, organic growth on the exterior, suggests these eggs may be hundreds or thousands of years old. Alien tubes. Alien devices penetrate the outer shell layer, likely designed to supply them with nutrients and to isolate them from the surrounding environment. Amniotic sac. Like any eggs on 4546b, these do not contain a nutrient supply, which is slowly exhausted by the embryo. Instead, they exist on a form of natural stasis, awaiting appropriate hatching conditions. Fetal organism. There is a high genetic match between these organisms and the Leviathan in the vicinity. They appear to be stable and healthy, meaning the Leviathan was the mother. It is likely that ideal hatching conditions for the eggs vary considerably from ideal survival conditions for the parent. Available biological data has been used to synthesize the effects of the alien bacterium on the Sea Emperor's natural life cycle. This creature likely lived and moved in small herds around the planet's ocean trenches. Color? I'm yawning a lot, I know. Coming to the surface to feed off the huge volumes of microorganisms in the shallower waters. Oh, sun's still high in the sky, it's somewhat cloudy. Family size would be strictly limited by available food supply. Offspring would likely split off at a young age to form their own herds elsewhere. Given their sparse population, mating and egg laying was likely infrequent, perhaps a once-in-a-lifetime event. The species likely had a preferred environment for egg laying. In fact, successful hatching may depend on such conditions. Given the rarity of this event, it is impossible to calculate those conditions precisely. There is no evidence to support the assumption that all members of the species were immune from the alien bacterium. Even if this is so, there is evidence that introduction of the bacterium decimated life on the planet, and this would have had catastrophic events on the Emperor's food supply and survival rate. The symbiotic relationship between the specimen and other life forms likely developed as a direct result of the bacterial infection. Those life forms which learned to keep the Emperor alive survived with its help. This may explain the vast tracts of lifeless ocean and a rough perimeter around the Emperor's location. And there we have it for advanced theories. So we're going to focus on Aurora survivors first.
Exiting sleep mode. Loading voice recognition. Engineer Barclay and Chief Technology Officer you identified.
Drone, get me a propulsion cannon.
Repulsion cannon retrieved.
Hey, Berkeley. Install that circuit box with that repulsion cannon and you'll punch a hole in the cargo bay.
Damn it, Drone, I said propulsion, not repulsion. Recalibrate sensors.
Senses recalibrated.
Sensors aren't the problem. I tweaked the program. It's like you now. It doesn't like being told what to do.
Drone, I know...
His name's Albert now.
Albert, I know it's not your fault, but it would really help me do my job if you'd bring me what I asked for. Thanks for your time.
Propulsion cannon retrieved.
Thank you. Now go away.
Entering hibernation mode.
Boss, this hobby of yours isn't making my job any easier. Or safer.
Maybe so, but it's all that's stopping me from being so bored I take a spacewalk in my skivvies.
Oh. Let's see. You are exploring a quiet alien backwater when the ship you arrived here in implodes. It must be wrecked in kidney poachers. Quick, what will you do? Farm alien plants. That's just what Greg McGill would do. After foraging for some hours, you've collected a number of potentially farmable foodstuffs. Which would you sustain yourself with? Starwall eggs. While the starwall eggs are nutritious, the life cycle of these vast space-faring creatures is much too slow to sustain a farm, and besides, their mother is extremely angry with you. Accept your fate. Craig McGill knows there is no reasoning with a mother scorned. You are not so much torn apart as swallowed whole and disintegrated. The atoms that you thought were you are gradually distributed in service of the Starwall's continued survival. Would you like to continue? No. Oh.
I'm not really a doctor. I know that's what my ID says, but I never have been. Cheated the medical exams. What does a doctor these days need to know about manually resetting bones? When was the last time a top surgeon actually cut someone open? That's what the robots are for. Doctors these days read diagnoses off of computer readouts. For that, I'm perfectly qualified. But what good is it when I'm not connected to the main network? I'm bleeding. I've got glowing green pustules growing on my hands. I run a self-scan and it tells me I've got skin irritation. The only thing I studied in medical school was how to lie convincingly. What the hell do I know about how to treat an alien disease? I think I'm actually going to die down here.
Oh.
Live pod launch sequence initiated. Entering planetary atmosphere.
My creators, the cherishers and sustainers of worlds, give me this day my daily pleasures as I give to those who seek pleasures from me.
External temperature approaching critical levels.
Show me the path. In life, truth, and love for mine is the power. I am the one. On and off and on again.
Impact imminent.
Life is a game which the universe plays with itself. I am done playing as this bundle of flesh. Return me.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So he killed himself, or specifically he let himself die.
How's his log? It's the day of the crash. I don't know what the heck is happening. I'm scared and I'm not going outside. There are shadows in the water under the hatch, but I can't tell if they're rocks or aliens. And there's weird-looking caves nearby. The Aurora was carrying everything needed to build the phase gate. Mobile vehicle bays, bioreactors, propulsion cannons. It had a cinema. There was a zero-G gym. My cafe. I don't understand how we're here now. I don't know why no one's coming for me.
Because everyone else was already dead. But you didn't know that. To all crew, if you're reading this, then you have followed the automatic distress signal broadcast by this LifePod's onboard computer, contrary to my orders. I have been forced to evacuate. Your orders are to disregard my safety and attempt to reach the designated rendezvous coordinates at the nearest landmass. I hope to see you there. That's the one we found on the, mountainous island.
Keen, this is Aurora. Come in. This is Keen. LifePod detached to a K-planet fall in 30 seconds.
The computer has identified a landmass at the attached coordinates. I want you to regroup the crew there.
Understood, but
They are your responsibility now. Don't let them down.
Captain, you need to evacuate.
Negative. You'll need the ship in one piece if you're going to contact HQ on the long range. I'm attempting a controlled descent.
Captain!
That's the moment that the Aurora exploded, like we saw at the start of the game.
Flotation devices failed.
We're flooding. Evacuate.
Wait. I can reconfigure the O2 system to act as a bilge pump.
It's working.
Okay, good news. We're alive and we've stopped sinking.
Bad?
The oxygen's going to run out in 30 minutes and we're 500 meters down.
What do we do?
We'll have to use the remaining juice to send a distress call and build whatever gear we can. Then we find a way to the surface.
And I don't think they ever did.
You really think it'll carry two of us?
Your regular sea glide tows a mass of 80 kilograms at over 30 kilometers an hour. The power cell rigged to this one should double that.
You think there's something out there that's faster?
Oh, sure. And that's assuming it doesn't overload 3 meters from the lifepod.
You're calm about this.
I'm seeing the engineering problem. If I stop seeing the maths, I'll be terrified.
Huh.
To any Altera crew. Landed in area of significant alien activity. Encountered predators in the Leviathan class, highly aggressive. Spectroscope scanner assigned species designator Reaper. One specimen attempted to swallow the lifepod, doing extensive damage in the process. Only viable option is to make for the safety of the Aurora crash site. I have retrieved a data box with the creature decoy and enough resources to fabricate a couple of them. The swim's longer than the decoy lifetime, but it should just be enough to keep them busy. If you don't find me on board the ship, presume I miscalculated.
Well, I guess you miscalculated then. Or you just perished on board the ship.
What are you doing? You were gone so long. I thought you drowned. Put the flare down. I was going to try and attract someone's attention. That's not a distress flare. Stop waving it around like that. You'll catch the fuel line.
Oh god. You know, I'm getting a very disturbing pattern. Not really a pattern, but I'm getting like... Some of the people here, they either... They either managed to survive long enough to try to rendezvous, or they underwent freak accidents, this being one of them, a freak accident. Oh my dear God. Oh God.
I've tried everything. The analysis circuits on the fabricator are fried. Can barely manufacture the most basic of materials. Want a battery? Here, have a children's toy. Need deep-sea diving equipment? Have some lab tech. Hungry? I'll turn that fruit into dust for you. I'm going forward with trial and error. I hit every button here has got to make something useful eventually.
You know, I probably should have looked at these at the very sites that these happened at. Profitability projections. 2 choices. Carry on working long-haul missions on the outer reaches of space, or come up with a profitable business, sell out to Altera, live happily ever after. I choose 2. Ideas. A robot that builds other robots. A water filtration system that has infinite power. Solar power. Body heat. Do suns last forever? Check this. A phase gate that can be built by self-repairing robots instead of poor lonely humans on an 18-month mission. What happens when something goes wrong? A VR program that precisely simulates real life down to the finest detail. How do I know I didn't already invent it and I'm inside it right now? A gun that shoots other smaller guns. Can't see any real objections to this one. Other than the fact that it's stupid.
We have to board the Aurora, repair the long-range comms, make contact with the other survivors. We can't be the only 2 that made it.
Those are not the orders the captain gave me, and they are not the orders I'm giving you.
This isn't chain of command, it's survival.
My obligations as acting commander don't turn on their convenience. Get out of the water.
If I get into trouble, I'll send you my coordinates.
I can't let you go alone.
Then come with me.
You don't leave me much choice.
Received emergency transmission from Second Officer Keen, 2 hours after last activity.
Rendezvous was a failure. Intercepted a transmission from Altera HQ. Seems they sent a data package to the Aurora. We were intercepted by a Leviathan-class predator before we could reach the ship. Consider the CTO and I lost at sea. Be safe. Keen, out.
Oh. Huh. Any facility locations. Okay, so this basically just tells us about in the event of an outbreak, quarantine procedures will be automatically enforced with immediate effect. The quarantine enforcement platform will target all incoming and outgoing craft to prevent the spread of infection off-world. Before they lost communications, Altera HQ uploaded a set of blueprints to the Aurora's main computer. There is a high-security terminal inside the captain's quarters located behind the prawn bay, from which the blueprints should be accessible. The code is 2679. So yeah, these were, for the Aurora, going on through the Aurora. If you need to tweak your equipment, please use the mod station in the forward section or retrieve pre-configured equipment from the lab next door to the data coil. The door code is 6483. A distress signal has been received from LifePod 4, but the attached coordinates were corrupted. Last available photographic data had been downloaded and analyzed. Oh. Flotation devices active, LifePod located at sea level. Pods is in close proximity to radioactive fallout from the Aurora. Transmission origin approximately 150 meters northwest of the Aurora's port vent section. Huh. So... Huh. A distress signal has been received from LifePod 6, but the... Okay. Crew requested assistance navigating radiation. sunk to approximately 100 meters, located in an dense area dense with red grass near a number of natural arches and rock stacks. Transmission origin approximately 400 meters west-northwest of Lipod 4's last known location. Crew reported problems with their onboard fabricator, sunk to 200 meters in an area of low ecological activity. Transmission origin approximately 1 kilometer southwest of the Aurora stern section. Notes to self. So here we are, finally in open space. We crossed the galaxy to install a phase gate, to send ships to mine resources, to build more expensive ships, to install the fancier phase gates. Are we trying to exhaust the galaxy or just ourselves? 1806. Use birthday. 40 weeks before we get home. 400 weeks it feels like before we get home. Not enough credits Altera's paying me. 1454 cargo bay code. A power router in the thermal plant is distributing energy collected on site to other facilities on the planet. Primary containment facility location updated. Construction within a natural chasm connected to this cave network. South-southeast area of volcanic activity. Depth 1.4 kilometers. Self-warping quarantine enforcement units 5%. Arch network 10%. Sanctuaries Alpha Beta Kappa 10%. Quarantine enforcement platform 35%. Disease research facility offline. Primary containment facility 20%. Reserve and 20%. There is no clear way to interrupt the power flow. Sweet offer from Higgins to Wilson. You're telling me you've been on this rig more than a year and you never took a ride on the outside? Well, now you've only gone and gotten yourself a friend with the keys to a giant frickin' robot suit. We plain got nothing to do till we get Starside to work on the gate. You want to taste the stars? You've only got to say, my spare prawn suit's got your name on it. You don't know what power feels like till you've crushed an asteroid with your bare, heavily mechanically augmented hands. Want to play a catch with a passing meteor? Come by cabin number 1, code 1869. So this was all before the Aurora exploded. So it was like up in the air, like up in the up in space. Let's see. Aurora Auxiliary Mission Orders. Target, crew of the Mongolian vessel Degasai. Last known position, vicinity of planet 14546b, Ariadnearm. Mongolian emissary, Coach Kesar, Aurora passenger quarters. A Mongolian vessel, the Degasai, disappeared almost a decade ago, carrying with it a high-ranking Mongolian chief. Corporate insurance has purchased a passage aboard the Aurora for emissary Kesar, and your orders are to make every reasonable effort to locate and retrieve the Degasai crew members without compromising the primary mission. Confirming the fate of the crew will aid Altera's diplomatic efforts with the Mongolian councils. Aurora is due to perform a slingshot maneuver around 4546b, approximately 13 months post-launch. This will bring the ship within range of the Degasai's last known position. Additional aquatic and all-terrain vehicles have been included in the Aurora's cargo package for this mission. Degasai crew manifesto has been distributed to senior employees in a separate message. So I think this explains why the Aurora came around to this planet. Because the Degasai people, about a decade ago, they disappeared, and they wanted to send out someone on a search and rescue mission. Well, it didn't exactly go in their favor at all. Let's see. Art Torgal. Lost in space near planet 4546b. Age at time of disappearance, 19. The only legitimate child of Paul Torgal. Beneficiary of enhanced learning techniques in cerebral implants. Digi-trained in advanced biochemistry and stellar economics. Emissary Kesar reports Bart was accompanying his father to a newly constructed deep space station where he was to serve a 5-year term as chief operating officer. The Degasai crew manifests Marguerite Maida. Hold on. This was the woman from Below Zero, the one we found, who had a base and she had like a big pet dog, a pet alien dog. Mercenary, born in the Mongolian states, experienced in age at time of disappearance, 42 years old. Experience in ship-to-ship and close-quarters combat techniques. Tours of duty with the Mongolian Defense Force and the Trans-System Federation. Dishonorably discharged from the TSF 15 years ago for going off mission. Details classified. Emissary Kesar reports Maida was hired to accompany Paul Torgal on board the Degasai into uncharted space and defend the ship in case of assault by pirates or rival corporations. Let's see. Search and rescue mission Paul Torgal. Chief of Torgal Corp, Captain of the Degasai. Lost in space near planet 4546b. Age at time of disappearance, 79. Paul Torgal and his crew fell out of contact with Mongolian authorities close to a decade ago. The Torgals were a resourceful and powerful clan, and the ship was well equipped, so their survival is considered likely. However, multiple vessels passing through the system have since attempted to trace the ship to no effect. It is hoped the Aurora's superior scanning suite can do better. Made majority shareholder in Torgal Corp by his mother upon her retirement, interaction with Altera limited in frequent chartered munitions deliveries, beneficiary of life extension technologies, accompanied by his only child, Bart Torgal, to the Torgal Corporation. Emissary Kesar reports Torgal often traveled with the skeleton crew and was known for making rash but profitable decisions. Inadequate systems maintenance or straying from its planned route may account for the ship's disappearance. Yeah, that might explain it. So apparently, skeleton crew basically means the fewest number of people possible required to do a particular job. You know, if you needed 5 people to work a console, you could optionally have 10 people, but you would probably only send 5.
I thought it might get claustrophobic living underwater. Father feels it is. He'd tell me it was childish, but I stare out the window and sometimes I think how lucky I am to see this world up close. Back on the island, I wouldn't have believed the creatures that live down here. The fish, they glow. There's one that's 90% eyeball. Snakes twice the length of a habitat compartment. Certainly, it's not all friendly. Most of the plant life is toxic. I learned that the hard way. But I've managed to coax some marble melons into growing indoors. And when they don't cover our dietary needs, well, we eat the fish themselves. It's a bit gross, but it's nothing they wouldn't do. I've been attempting to document my findings. Father approves. He says understanding is power, that the more we know about this planet, the more we can use it to our advantage. I'm just doing it because it's fun. It's not easy without proper equipment and network access, but the old-fashioned way, observing, taking notes, testing theories, shows me the world in a way a spectroscopic analysis never could. Lately, I've been watching the crab snakes. They ambush their prey as it tries to feed on the mushrooms they hide in. What they don't eat settles on the seabed, which fertilizes the mushrooms, which feeds the herbivores, and so the chain continues. Co-evolution gives me the fuzzies.
Aha!
Signal location uploaded to the PDA. Integrating new PDA data.
I'm not missing anything this time.
Data.
I'm not missing anything this time. Apparently, there's still some inside the base itself. Which I did not realize at the time. So I'm gonna try to see where that could possibly be. Ah. Oh.
Integrating new PDA data. New blueprint acquired.
Well, that's pretty. Oh. Oh. Okay, so hang on. It- right around here. So I want to turn north this way.
Integrating new PDA data.
Up. Gone. Gone like the wind. Boing. Maybe something here. Oh.
Signal location uploaded to PDA. Integrating new PDA data.
Alright, now that I've gotten caught up. Where were we? Here we are.
Something incredible just happened. Since we're down here, I had this plan to build equipment and study the life forms we were encountering, but I didn't have enough enameled glass. So, I started looking for a natural substrate that would strengthen the glass we have, and those stalker teeth we've been finding fit the bill. Only, well, we needed more. That's when Marguerite got interested. She actually listened to me, more than I can say for father, and I worked up the courage to talk about my more tentative theories. When I told her they were attracted to metal deposits, that their teeth get dislodged when they pick them up, her eyes narrowed and she dashed out of the room. 3 hours later, she came back, her pack loaded down with stalker teeth. I asked her about it. She shrugged and said my theories were good. Said she had the meeting out of the palm of her hand. I think she meant it literally. She is incredible. She went out to the kelp forest armed with just a heat blade and went fin to fin with a pack of stalkers. On the one hand, that is the coolest thing I have ever heard. On the other, well, I hope the stalkers didn't come off worse than Marguerite did. She had a huge gash on her forearm. I don't think things went as smoothly as she made out. And what's the point in surviving here if we have to kill everything that makes it so wonderful? I wish I knew more about these animals, but Father won't let me leave the habitat. Maybe with all this glass, we could build a containment unit and get up close to them. This is the first time I've seen sunlight in months. After all that time in the deep, I'd been dreaming of it. Now that I'm back here, I'm finding it hard to enjoy alone. Father was right. We should never have left this place. We shouldn't have gone so deep. They do not want us down there. Despite my best efforts, ill health is taking hold of me. The visions are getting worse. Marguerite and Father are now part of the ecosystem of this incredible planet. It's reassuring to know that when I go, I'll join them. Until then, well, there's always the view.
So hold on. Marguerite wasn't... Okay, so... We found Marguerite in Below Zero. So does this mean that he thought that she was dead? So Marguerite was... like... Huh.
This island is a godsend. Look out of the window. No predators, fresh food.
No building materials, nothing left of the ship, and your kid says we're gonna starve without more grow beds. Speak up, kid.
It's true, Father. The natural growth rates are too slow to keep supporting us.
All I'm saying is ocean's got us surrounded. No use hiding. Sooner or later, we'll get our feet wet.
The rest of your life may have been a fight, Maida, but I've made my decision. You want to forfeit your emergency pay to take a swim? Go ahead.
Believe me, I'm thinking on it.
Son, I said wait for the storm to pass. Your life's more valuable to me than a plant patch.
You stopped being in charge when the ship you were captaining sunk.
I'll stop being in charge when you take charge of yourself.
Say, Chief. Chief,
What?
you know how to drain those grow beds of 40 tons of stormwater? Or how to conjure food from the air?
I know how to prioritize.
I'm just saying, if that's so, what's your boy's life worth to you today? If tomorrow you're gonna be so hungry you start wondering what he tastes like. Let him go deal with the plants.
Son, go deal with the plants.
Bard, Torgo has disembarked the habitat.
Interfere with my family again, and when rescue arrives, I will leave you here. Do you understand me?
No rescue coming, Chief. Not in time. And no staying here neither. This rain keeps falling, sooner or later this place will be buried. Only choice we got is whether to get buried with it. You see, Chief, you brought us to this sodden planet. Told us we'd see a lush payday. Now what do we got some 6 weeks later? A dead crew, a habitat that's half buried, food washed away.
I suppose the executive decisions would be better left to someone with your extensive experience of hitting people in the face.
I know enough not to take unscheduled detours to uncharted planets. That's something you don't want to learn the hard way.
Easy to judge a decision in hindsight. Harder to come up with a plan of your own.
Got one already. We take what we can carry and hunker down in a cave somewhere. I scouted a site, a couple 100 meters deep, lots of metal deposits.
How do you imagine we'd live?
With ready access to building materials, like damn queens, Couple of water filters, a bioreactor, fresh fish. But Chief, we'll eat seaweed salad and drink our own urine if that's what it takes. All that matters is, do you got something better?
Send the coordinates to my PDA. I'll review your proposal.
So that must be talking about the Degasai site that's down in the Jellyshroom Cave.
What is that thing?
I don't know. I found it outside in the sand.
Part of another ship?
None I've ever seen.
It's not even scratched.
Don't fool around with it. It might be worth something.
Stand down, Chief. If it were gonna crumble to dust, it would have done so when I picked it up.
It's glowing.
We're not the first people to come to this planet.
People. Maybe. Could be aliens. Could be the damn sea monsters for all we know. One thing for sure, we ain't gonna find out by staying here.
Son, there is always a pecking order. And in our world, money makes a hierarchy. I pay Maida a fraction of what I pay you, and you a fraction of what I pay me.
If money makes the hierarchy, why is Marguerite making the decisions?
We need her. We let her think what she likes, so long as she does what she's told.
What if she doesn't?
For enough money, she will. People always do. We're already 200 meters below sea level. You want to go deeper?
Look around us, Chief. Water leaking through the hull, water outside the hatch. We're drowning real slow. If rescue arrives, whatever shot us down, it's gonna do it again and again until it's shut off. You see an off switch around here, Chief?
Why would it any more likely be half a kilometer down?
Your kid found something on the scanner. There's something down there. Something that shouldn't be.
You're mad.
I'm going all the same, and I've an idea you two are gonna follow. But if you do, be mindful. Your authority stopped at sea level.
Please, stop fighting and listen. We're sick.
What?
How?
You've been coughing, right? Feeling itchy? Blisters?
Yeah.
The biometrics would have warned us if we were sick.
It's something new. It's not in the database.
Come on, then. What's it gonna do? Turn us inside out? Dissolve us into jelly?
It's an alien bacteria. It's everywhere. Every organism on this planet. It's altering our genetic code.
How are the creatures surviving if they're infected?
I don't know yet.
Want me to cut some of them open for you? Find out what makes them tick?
No.
Just tell me what you need, son. Materials, equipment.
Can I have some quiet? I need some time to think.
Yep, the bacteria got to them. Well, if that's the case, then how did Marguerite survive? The most likely explanation that I can think of is all those peepers that were being pumped around from that site where they were like being given the enzyme by the Queen and being pumped out all over the planet. That's the most likely thing I can think of about how she hasn't died yet. I mean, there is a note about her surviving for God knows how long inside the body of a Reaver Leviathan.
Margaret, Maida has boarded the habitat.
What are you so happy about, Maida?
Say, kid, I brought you something.
Is that a Leviathan outside?
Towed it home on the back of the sub.
You killed that thing?
It's still breathing. I was about to finish the job, but I can stay and chat if you'd like. No? Then make yourself useful and pass me that hardened blade.
Are you out of your mind? You brought that thing here? What if it's not as dead as it looks? What if others come?
You prefer it got curious and came of its own accord, or got messed up and dragged here?
When we get off this planet, I am going to drag you through every court in the damn Federation. I have had it with you risking our lives.
Oh, stow it, Chief. The kid can't kill this disease without fish to study. I'm just bringing him home.
But Tell her. Tell her I'm right.
You're both wrong. Marguerite, I can't find out how they resist the bacteria if you slaughter them all.
It ain't always they oblige in coming in alive.
He means you're being reckless.
Father, the outcome's no better if we hole up in here and don't go outside. Look, we have to find a middle way.
There is no compromise. Not while she's on my sea base.
Your sea base?
I'm going outside.
Bart, Torgal has disembarked the habitat.
Bart, come in. It's dangerous. Damn it, boy. I know you can hear me.
Chief. Chief, get off the radio and put on your helmet.
What?
Brace!
Oh, God.
Chief's log, 5 weeks since the crash. The only other survivors are my son, Bart, and Maida, the cut-price mercenary I commissioned for the journey. After days drifting in the life pod, rain hammering on the roof, the weather cleared and we washed up here. I had Maida salvage the Degazi wreck, set Bart to finding us a stable source of food. His education is paying off sooner than I'd anticipated. Our only problem is Maida. She says the weather's going to turn. I say she's finding excuses to risk our lives. I imagine she's not going to weaken her life without a physical altercation, and she's itching for a fight. In every judgment she makes, things go from bad to worse. If she had my experience, she'd have more faith. Humans have spent millennia specializing in how to shackle nature to our will. This planet won't cause us any new problems. My one task now is to keep us alive, as comfortably as possible, until the insurance company arranges rescue. In this part of space, that could be months, or even years.
Except no rescue was ever coming. Not while that alien gun was activated. Also, I now realize I've been pronouncing it wrong. It's not Degasai, it's Degassi. Whatever.
You know what Maida told me today? She wants to build a habitat 500 meters below sea level, more than a kilometer northeast of here. And she needs Bart and I to do it. She's got it into her head that she can save us if she just acts recklessly enough. But I've hauled Star Wars to Neptune, Plasteel to the Federation. This family operates 9 different mining colonies across the Ariadne Arm. Maida thinks she's better suited to lead. Her contract still says otherwise. But I just cannot damn well tell whether it's the stupidest idea I ever heard, or my only hope. I turned 80 years old last week. I thought I had another 80 in me, but marooned on this planet, there's no swapping out of my liver when the old one fails. Here, I'm mortal. And Maida is useful. So, it's my responsibility to make a decision. Return to the island and hope whatever knocked the Degazi out of the sky won't do the same to the rescue ship. Or take us deeper in search of answers. And all the while be hoping old age gets me before the sea monsters do. I'll give Maida just one thing. She was right about these caves. There's enough lithium there to fabricate 100 tons of plasteel. Enough for a damn fleet of Cyclops submarines. There was nothing anyone could have done to avoid crashing here. But I was right to order the detour. If we get off this planet, they'll be talking about the Torgal share price on the other side of the Federation. Came out of nowhere. An alien kraken, bigger than a cyclops. Tore a hole clear through the reinforced hull. I barely got my breather in time. I told her. I said others would come. The rupture threw me clear of the habitat, and the monster turned and bore down on me. Just as its tentacles came within reach, Maida appeared out of nowhere. She had a sea glide in one hand, a jagged piece of scrap metal in the other. She meant to butcher that beast or die trying. The last I saw her, she had the metal lodged in its neck as the monster did its best to shake her, contorting off into the darkness. I'm certain she got her wish, one way or another. Then I thought I saw a light deep below me. I hoped maybe Bart had swum clear. I followed it. Now I wonder whether I saw anything at all. My oxygen is low. The habitat is gone. I can't see the sky. Something surely has the scent of my blood.
And that's the last we ever heard of Paul. Well, whatever happened to Marguerite, we know that she was alive long enough for, below zero.
Average long-range transmission delay, 8 hours. Opening last recorded transmissions.
This is an emergency distress call. Aurora is on collision course with planet 4546b. Sending all available environmental data. Please respond with rescue solution. Out.
This is Altera HQ. Attached to this message, you should find the blueprints for an escape ship that we calculate will be capable of breaking orbit and getting you back to the nearest phase gate. Now, it's designed to use materials you can find in situ, but it's gonna need one hell of a power source. Now, we'll be sure to...
Aurora long-range communications relay offline.
Initiated slingshot maneuver around planet 4546b. High-velocity energy pulse detected on planet surface. That was the alien gun. Emergency distress signal sent to Altera listening buoy via long-range comm relay. Impact detected. Life pod bays on starboard side compromised. Outgoing communications compromised. Emergency evacuation initiated. Manual piloting transferred to Captain Hollister. Life pods 1 to 25 launches successfully. Entering planetary atmosphere. Massive impact registered. Drive core shield compromised. Emergency detected. Emergency bounce backs received from 8 life pods on planet surface. Human life signs detected over long range at T plus 8 hours. 1. I guess that was us. Personnel unaccounted for. Non-essential systems. Maintenance Chief Riley Robinson. Altera HQ rescue solution received at T plus 8 hours to high priority terminal captain's quarters. Monitoring equipment failed at T plus 13 hours. The Aurora's drive core is shielded by a thick metal shell, which breached in multiple locations shortly after the crash. Once breached, it will continue to leak radiation into the surrounding environment until the breaches are sealed. After that point, the radiation in the environment will dissipate over time. The procedure should only be attempted with an appropriate radiation protection and a fully charged repair tool. Let's see. Dear Sweet Log, Player 1 has been washed away by an unusually high tide. Player 2 has traded a coconut with Player 3 for 10 credits. Player 3 has planted a coconut. Players are getting hungry. Player 3 has grown a coconut tree. Player 3 has eaten a coconut. Player 3 is no longer hungry. Player 3 has traded a coconut with Player 2 for 30 credits. Player 2 has eaten a coconut but is still hungry. Player 3 has traded a coconut with Player 2 in exchange for building a tent. Player 3 is sleeping inside their tent. Player 2 is cold. A passing ship is offering trading. Night falls. Player 2 has traded 30 credits for a musket. Player 3 has been shot twice in the head while sleeping. Player 2 wins. Player 2 has died from cold and starvation. What the fuck? Bro, why you gotta betray him like that? It was like your chance at survival. Dumbass. Charity is an archaic concept within which the realism of today's Alterans has rendered obsolete. We understand that we are each responsible for ourselves, but the best way to get the most for ourselves is to work together with Altera. The implication of this reasoning is clear. If someone is in need, they must find a way to be needed. Altera Alms is a trading academy for those that need to be needed. We're not a charity because we don't ask for handouts. We prefer to think of ourselves as a philanthropic beneficence facilitation service promoting synergy between an employer and workforce. AA operates on a lottery system. By investing any number of credits, you will be entered into our prize draw. Larger investments yield higher chances of winning. Is this thing recording? Yes, it is. Your credits will go towards training unskilled colonists in vital tasks such as maintenance and interpersonal skills. The colonists receive this training voluntarily and free of charge on condition of a minimum contract with one of our investors on completion of the training. Phase gate announced for the Ariadne arm, Altera launches the Aurora. The furthest regions of inhabited space are due to expand as Altera Corp launches a newly constructed capital ship carrying a phase gate bound for the Ariadne arm. The Aurora will travel from a space dock on the edge of Altera space, making hundreds of consecutive phase gate jumps through 9 different Transgov authorities, and arrive on the far side of the Ariadne arm in 3 months' time. From there, the command crew will pilot the ship beyond the final phase gate, arriving in the next solar system approximately 18 months later. There, the elite team of engineers will begin a 6-month construction project on the new phase gate, a multi-trillion credit investment. In the absence of existing infrastructure on the region, the vessel is equipped with advanced thermal and nuclear power facilities. Altera Corp currently operates 9% of all phase gates in the galaxy. If Aurora's mission is successful, Altera will have outmaneuvered a capital of Mongolian corporations, operating a range of outposts and mines in the region. Torgal Corporation is a long-standing family-run clan that operates almost a dozen mining and trading operations. The company's share price hit an all-time high on the announcement by a Mongolian cabal of their intention to construct a new phase gate utilizing Torgal materials. These plans were put on hold when Bart Torgal, the intended leader of the new mining operation, disappeared along with his father roughly a decade ago. It's not about money. That's what every director on Altera's board has told me, and I believe them. Profitability is just an interim measure of success. Power and status are the real goals. Make enough profit for Altera Corporation and you'll be recognized by the most powerful business people in the universe. Establish a company that obliterates the competition and, after compulsory buyout, you can be promoted to the board of directors. Perks include travel, free use of company phase gates, entourage, personal assistance for every facet of your life, longevity, automatic organ replacement. Altera, get what you deserve.
Listen, I know I don't have the right to make demands of you, but I need you to understand that I want to change our arrangement.
I hear what you're saying, and I will try to respect it. How would you like to change it?
I would like to reduce our contact hours.
How much further can we do that?
To 0.
You're dumping me.
I'm changing the terms of our relationship.
How is it still a relationship if we don't see each other?
It's a relationship of a kind. You have so many expectations.
I feel you just want to spend more time with that dumb guy in his dumb robot suit.
That's not a feeling. It's a judgment. And I feel hostility in what you're saying. Perhaps your jealousy is a sign that you need to take another look at your business model. Why can't you just be happy for me?
I am happy for you, and I'm happy for all the guys in the prawn bay. I'm just not happy for me.
This is why I want to change our arrangement.
Yeesh. Forward by Jenny Eckhart. All the good things in life are commodities. We trade love just as we buy and sell stock. We engage in human relationships where there is a fair exchange of value. Support, motivation, affection. Nothing good is ever free. If every physical good in the Federation came from a single supplier, it would constitute a dangerous monopoly. Personal relationships are the same. It is important for people to get what they need from multiple sources. If a person finds a better source of the goods they require, they are not wronging their original supplier by changing their purchasing arrangements. If one member of a relationship should feel threatened or jealous, they must look at their own business model and ask whether it is performing competitively. There is always room for improvement. Today's menu. Space Bear Balut, Cottage Pie or Nutria Block, Red Fruits and Nuts. You guys can pause and read that one if you want to, but I'm not reading a food menu. One Transgov Altera Corp, one of the largest suppliers of spacefaring technologies and consumer electronics in the Federation, the official supplier of the TSF, consistently ranked amongst the galaxy's best employers. Began life as a defense manufacturer in the mid-22nd century. National motto, get what you deserve. Although most transgovs can trace their roots back to Earth, Altera, literally meaning by Earth, is the only one brazen enough to take its name. During the expansion, Altera supplied arms to all sides, acquiring and housing a vast colonist workforce, and making the transition from manufacture to corporate state. Altera's threat to cease trade was one of the turning points in the conflict, bringing about the end of hostilities and the signing of the Charter. Free enterprise within Altera space is encouraged, but competition is tight, and all goods exported off-world must be Altera branded. Profitable businesses are bought out by the state, owners ascending to the board of directors. Well-known Altera technologies like the Cyclops submersible originated with such private enterprises. Despite superficial similarities to national governments, the corporation's lawyers have always maintained that it has no legal obligation to its employees, but voluntarily elects to take on the roles usually served by a democratically elected government. This claim has not yet been tested in Federation courts. When the hostilities of the expansion ceased, the tactical value of the hard-to-reach colony systems on the edge of the China territories plummeted. Recouping from the war, the central government left them to starve. The systems in question declared independence, claiming their infrastructure as their own, and their intent to become self-sufficient. Today, the Mongolian state is seen as a relatively minor power on the outskirts of colonized space, yet it remains one of the fastest expanding transgovs in the galaxy. Mongolian societies inherited their technologies from the Chinese, but incorporated the customs of their multicultural colonist base. Non-synthetic foods remain popular. Religion is a strong component of society, but the Mongolians take a relaxed view of competing faiths, believing gods to be universally and equally flawed. How are the individuals which make up a hive mind to be categorized? Are they merely dumb components of the larger intelligent organism, or is the larger mind merely a product of the independent organisms? Can it be both? We define organisms by their traits, but find invariably that these traits depend on those of their environment. The concept of a tadpole is meaningless without the concept of the frog it will develop into. The idea of a predator is empty without an understanding of its prey. This begs the question: if we define everything by reference to everything else, what have we actually explained? An illustrative experiment was recently performed on the hive mind colony discovered on Strader 6. A device was placed outside the nest which would electrocute individuals approaching it. An ant colony would have lost many individuals before a basic danger signal was successfully communicated between them, resulting in learned avoidance of the device. Successful, but costly. The Strader 6 colony quickly formed into two factions. One attempted to move the device by brute force, sacrificing individuals as they did so. The second attempted to cover the device in sand. These two goals being mutually exclusive, a fight ensued. The first faction was beaten in virtue of their reduced numbers. The device was safely buried, and the survivors called a truce. From the perspective of the individuals, this experience must have been horrific. From the perspective of the hive mind, a nagging problem had been overcome with the most effective solution. Which perspective is the correct one? We suggest that it is neither. By attempting to fit such entities into our rigid set of concepts, we are painting onto the world a false impression of concreteness and meaning, which is a reflection of our concepts of ourselves. We describe Strader 6 individuals as attacking one another, just as we describe microbes in the human body. Yet the Strader colony, like the body, cannot be healthy as a whole without the aggressions of its components. We describe neurons in the brain as being dumb, but brains as a whole as intelligent. But when an idea takes hold in the brain and forces out inferior ones, do we describe this as an act of aggression? Do we mourn dead neurons? When a philosophy or a technology takes hold in human society, when wars are fought over them and people die, is that rightly seen as being good or evil? This is not to undermine the meaning of our existence. From where we stand, our existence is very serious indeed. But is our civilization and our universe really any different from the colony on Strader 6? Is intelligence something limited to things of flesh and blood? Or is the universe truly one giant intelligent system, and we but amoeba blowing self-important potholes in its surface? We would do well as scientists to remember that our goal is not to paint the world as we see it, but to see it as it truly is. That's an interesting way of looking at it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the phone. Sorry, not phone. It's time for the final moment that we've all been waiting for. It's time to build the Neptune. If it'll finish saving. I forgot to press pause briefly. But here we are. And now, we just need to go onto the console on the platform and see what we need. The Neptune gantry. Plasteel ingot, copper wire, and lubricant. Okay. Got enough scrap to make more titanium. I don't know how much plasteel ingot it's going to be demanding from me. But it's good to have all the titanium I could possibly need. Alrighty. Managed to snag a enough materials for this first bit. Plasteel ingot, that's right. Lithium, that's right, lithium. Alright, folks. Step 1. Neptune boosters. Plasteel ingot, nickel ore, aerogel, and wiring kit. Wiring kit. Alright, now I got my wiring kit. Step 2. Plasteel ingot, crystalline sulfur, kyanite, ion power cell. I was hoping to pin that. Plasteel ingot, 4 crystalline sulfur, 4 kyanite, ion power cell. Okay. One gold. Actually, I'll need 2 gold. Two silver. 2 ion cubes. I think it also one more plasteel ingot. Look at that. That's just impressive. Oh, fuck me. Had to remove one of my power transmitters. And yet I still have a lot of power. Don't know how that works. Huh. Guess that worked out in my favor. Well, that's pretty. Alright. What will the final piece be upon completion of constructing this part? The dome, perhaps? That's simple enough. The Cyclops shield generator, glass steel ingot, enameled glass, and a computer chip. I have more than enough to make a piece of, glass steel ingot.
Calorie intake recommended.
Let's see. Coral. And then finally, enameled glass. Look at that. It's marvelous. Do I have everything? Cyclops shield generator. Thank you for all your help, old friend. You were truly great to me. Mm-hmm. Making a second computer chip. Copper wire. Need to make copper wire. Followed by computer chip.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Thank you, old friend. Do I have one installed in store already? No. That was close. Here we go, folks.
Neptune 1 rocket online.
She's finally ready. Goodbye, 4546B. You've been wonderful. How do I climb this thing? Oh god, there's something in my eye. Not a tear, it's actually itching. How do I climb up? Do I just... How do I climb on? Oh, wait a minute.
Communications systems array active. Auxiliary power unit online. Pressurizing hydraulics. Life support systems online. Primary computer systems active. All systems are go for liftoff.
Hmm. Oh, well. Okay.
Time capsule ready.
Everything's all set up. The moment we've all been waiting for, folks. It's time for blast off.
Ready to launch on your command, Captain. Launch in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And off we go!
Time capsule jettisoned. Caution, approaching orbital debris field. Orbital debris field clear. Performing gravity turn maneuver.
And that's where we've been all this time.
Confirm destination coordinates. Nearest interstellar phase gate. Engaging ion boosters in 3, 2, 1.
Oh!
What is a wave without the ocean? A beginning without an end. They are different, but they go together. Now you go among the stars, and I fall among the sand. We are different, but we go together.
And there we go. That was Subnautica, folks. We finally made it through to the end. And I couldn't be happier. I really felt like I needed to do this. That I really had to push through to get to the end once again in a much happier time in my life. And I'm so glad I did. Every loose end really feel like it was finally properly tied. Now, I said before that I was not going to be doing Sub-Zero, or sorry, Below Zero, and I'm holding true to that. Below Zero just didn't really hold up to the promise that functionally Subnautica did. Now, I'm sure that sometime in the next several years, they're gonna come out with a Subnautica 2 or a Subnautica 3, whatever they want to call it. And I'm hoping it really lives up to the absolute promise that Subnautica did. But I finally made it to the end, and I'm so happy I did. So I'll let you guys enjoy the credits.
Welcome home to Alterra. Permission to land will be granted once you have settled your outstanding balance of 1 trillion credits.
And there we go, folks. Before my channel came to rest, this was one of the loose ends I wanted to ensure was tied. And I'm so glad that I did. Thank you everyone for watching this playthrough. And I'll see you all in the next video.